14 years ago on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It was LeBron James, the chosen one. And Grant Wahl had the assignment to go cover this junior in high school. And Grant joins us now. How did you get the assignment, Grant?
I pitched it, Dan. Back in those days, college basketball was my main beat, but I was also keeping an eye on what was happening at the high school level and what was happening in the summer. And this kid, LeBron James, from Ohio at the ABCD camp that previous summer, had outplayed the number one player in the country, a guy named Lenny Cook, who ended up never playing in the NBA. But there was a lot of buzz around LeBron James. And so I said, why don't we go out to Akron and spend some time with him and see where it goes.
Did he know he was going to be on the cover? Was that part of the agreement that he would be on the cover?
No, not at all. In fact, just for a little context, this was during the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. And so I kind of thought a cover was out of the question just because the Olympics were going on in the United States. I do remember getting maybe a little bit of an inkling that it might be possible, because I first went to Akron in January before the Olympics started. And LeBron was kind enough to let me drive him and his buddies from Akron to an NBA game in Cleveland, where Michael Jordan happened to hit a buzzer beater for the Wizards. And I remember we were at a drive-through, a McDonald's drive-through, and I said, there's a chance this could be a cover story. And he kind of gave me this look like that was surprising to him. It was a little surprising to me, but I'd heard it was at least possible. And then I made another visit to Trenton a couple of weeks later for this now famous game between LeBron's high school team and Carmelo Anthony's team. And it started to look like it was even more possible at that point. And then it happened.
How much time did you spend with him?
Quite a bit, actually. We spent maybe 3-4 days together in Akron on the first visit that January. And had a really interesting time going to the game that we went to in Cleveland, kind of observed LeBron interacting with Michael Jordan after that game. They had already met before, and Jordan was trying to land LeBron from Nike even then. So, having that hour or so in the car each way between Akron and Cleveland, you got to know the guy a little bit. And he was pretty impressive at that time, already a really polished interview and obviously a great player.
So Jordan was pitching LeBron when LeBron was a junior in high school on Nike.
Oh, yeah. And I went back and read my story, actually, this morning, and I wrote at that time, like, this could be a $20 million deal with Nike. Well, it ended up being a $90 million deal with Nike. So you got a sense of just how crazy it got after LeBron appeared on the SI cover, and then over the next year and a half until he turned pro.
When's the last time you saw LeBron?
Let's see. So I cover soccer now. So I saw him at the World Cup in Brazil in 2014. He came down for the final. And, it was good to see him and good to see that he's made this career work, because it was no guarantee that he would. He could have been Lenny Cook. He could have been Freddie Adu, who I covered for Sports Illustrated right around the same time. But, he survived the pressure and he's made it work. I have a ton of admiration for him.
But any trepidation when you have a junior in high school on the cover of Sports Illustrated that, we move on, but the pressure stays there, the expectation level stays there with those kids, and some escape it, some don't.
No, I'll admit to you, I was concerned, because when you're on the cover of Sports Illustrated, then or now, it puts a lot of pressure on a young kid. I told him at the time, you're on the cover. This will have a pretty big impact on the way you're perceived. And he said he was ready for it, and I remember the cover line was the chosen one. That was chosen by Greg Kelly, an editor at Sports Illustrated. And I told Greg recently that LeBron got that tattoo, so he must have liked that cover line.
How would you describe his household growing up, his home life?
Tough. Didn't know his father, his biological father. lived with his mom in West Akron. You know, they lived in a bunch of different places. LeBron had said he missed about 100 days of school in fourth grade. And he met a family, Frankie Walker, junior and senior, and basically lived with them and, you know, started going to school every day, started, you know, getting decent grades. You know, he was a pretty decent high school student, thoughtful guy. And, you know, those moments, you know, that time in his life, I think was really important in setting him up to handle the crush of publicity that came around. But, you know, he went through a lot of stuff. I remember visiting his home in West Akron, and, you know, it was not a fancy place by any means, even when he was a junior in high school and getting this attention. You know, one-room place. And I remember there was this kind of lucite block above their television where it was a fake Sports Illustrated cover saying, is LeBron James the next Michael Jordan? And I thought it was kind of cool that he, you know, ended up having a real SI cover at that point.
Grant, thanks for joining us. Great to check in with you, and thanks for the stories. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Take care, Dan.